If you're a player today, you'd never play for a racist club. The same will happen with climate. Is this football's climate savior? But for the Norway and Sampdoria star, there's one game that he and humanity cannot afford to lose. The climate emergency is fast approaching extra time, but can he and the football community be the vehicle to deliver a game-changing moment? A bigger purpose-2 recurring words come to light when speaking with the mild-mannered midfielder, purpose and potential.For Thorsby. It's football's marriage with the natural world that provides the drive behind both impulses. Growing up, the fair-haired Norwegian was conscious of all the possibilities that nature gave with the very game he loved itself, dependent on the living, breathing ecosystem around it. His awareness of the changing environment was brought into sharp focus when leaving his homeland as an 18-year-old to sign for Dutch top-flight outfit here in Wien. When I started speaking about 6-7 years ago, approximately, it was very hard getting through to my colleagues, other players, and also the clubs, he admits.
Being a professional athlete and football player is a very personal project. It's an egoistic project. I felt, is this the right way or use of my time? Does it give anything back to society? After consultations with his parents, a decision was reached. The best thing I can do is become as good as possible in football and keep on using my voice and spreading the word, he says with a smile. Read, Sean McCabe, World Football's first climate justice officer. The 3.5 billion strong football community. How then to rally the wider football community to regain mankind's balance with nature? The mission statement is one of engaging and empowering players and clubs around the world to take on environmental initiatives and spread the word to the game's 3.5 billion strong global community. It was the reaction by me being an engaged individual in the football world that I was missing, he says of his motives. And the mechanism to enable this scaling up. Social media. According to the foundation, as of August this year, the top 100 players in the world have a combined 4.5 billion followers across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok and Weibo. Quite simply, as Thorsby puts it, if we can get the word out to 3.5 billion people, that could make a huge difference. In practice, Thorsby hopes to launch a sustainability league in Norway next year with the goal of establishing coaching programs to help greenify the football community. It's a project which he hopes will sow the seed for the football family to make an impression on the wider community. The argument that politics and football is not related is no longer valid, he says. Read, mocked by some, but Green Soccer Club wants to save the world. Changing mindset. Sport has as much reason as any other industry to care about the climate crisis, with major events already feeling the effects of extreme weather patterns. Typhoon Hagibis brought widespread flooding and landslides as Japan hosted the 2019 Rugby World Cup. Smoke from bushfires ravaging the country disrupted last year's Tennis Australian Open, and the remnants of Hurricane Ida wreaked havoc at this year's US Open Tennis Championship. A study published last year by the Rapid Transition Alliance forecasts that, in time, extreme weather events and sea level rises caused by climate change will flood stadiums and playing fields. Heat waves and heat stroke will threaten the health of both players and fans alike. With the consequences of inaction becoming ever more tangible, Thorsby is convinced matters of sustainability and climate are growing larger and larger in the minds of the football community. Fans are starting to care, and they want to see their clubs care about it, and they want the players to play for the clubs to care about it. It's kind of a circle we have to make happen, he explains. Fan outrage at the ill-fated attempt of a Super League earlier this year was proof that wide-scale mobilisation on a matter so dear to fans' hearts is possible. It was a reaction the Norwegian says was pure, that's real. And with the distance between the game's power brokers and fans seemingly the widest it has ever been, for Thorsby, it's the players who are the key elements in the football industry. If you're a player today, you would never play for a racist club, no matter what money was involved, he explains. The same thing I think will happen when it comes to climate. You will see a shift, players choosing to play for clubs that actually take this social responsibility. That can also create a bigger value for football. I think it's just a matter of time before it starts to happen. Read, the sporting opponent that could beat every single athlete. An imperfect system. It's why the sharing of existing knowledge is instrumental to equalizing what he calls an imperfect system. The world, as Thorsby sees it, is split between the informed and the uninformed, with the task now being to bridge that divide. We're in the very difficult phase because nothing is sustainable because we don't have a solution, he says candidly. You can't blame somebody who is not aware and not taking the right decisions. The people who are informed have to now start to take responsibility. The people who is not, we have to make them aware so they can start to make concrete action. While Thorsby acknowledges that, at least in the short term, the game largely remains without practical tangible solutions to take on the climate emergency, we can still all play our part. He sets out 3 basic principles. First, assess how we can cut down our own footprint. Second, educate ourselves and influence others on environmentalism. And third, and perhaps most importantly, use our voting powers to elect environmentally conscious representatives. Small steps but with a collective potential for a bigger change. Read, the table tennis prodigy ready to help US President Joe Biden tackle the climate crisis. I wanted the 1.5 degree shirt. Perhaps the most important step on this journey of change is to create awareness. She's the perfect example we're all trying to look up to, and we need that role model. And it's in that spirit that the skilled midfield operator has made a symbolic and significant statement this season. Before every season we have the ability to change the number. And I was thinking, what can I do? He explains. I saw the number 2 shirt and I was thinking that can symbolize the primary objective in the Paris Agreement on limiting global warming to above 2 degrees. Thorsby, who joined Serie A club Sampdoria in 2019, had previously worn the number 18 shirt. Nearly 200 countries have signed up to the 2015 Paris Agreement, which ideally sought to limit worldwide temperature increase to 1.5 degrees by 2030.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe,